And welcome back, welcome back. So we do have Mr. Alvin Douglas. He is a dive master from Frontier Divers, and we are talking the dive, or we'll speak about the dive industry. Now, the dive paradise that is Tobago. I myself can testify that Tobago is a dive paradise. Under the sea is a different world, and I had the privilege of being under his tutelage as I took my first plunge into the deep beyond. I'll call it that. Good morning, Mr. Douglas.
Good morning, Brother Beeb. Good morning, Tobago. Yes. Good morning, Trinidad and Tobago by extension.
Very good. This dive paradise, people leave all over the world to come here to dive. Mr. Douglas is a sleeping giant. Have we explored it enough? What do we need to do to capitalize on this industry that is asleep?
That's a good question. I mean, it is a sleeping giant. However, that giant has been around. It's around Tobago's tourism industry for more than 40 years. I would say as long as they've been glass bottom boat, which is almost 60 years, they have been some sort of exploration around our island as per SCUBA. SCUBA stands for self-contained underwater breathing apparatus. You know, so it has been here and it has put Tobago on the map significantly. I just came back from DEMA show, or a dive show, which is a show that really showcases the industry. It's a dive professional show, so it's not open to the public. However, the DEMA stands for Dive Equipment Marketing Association, and what happens is that it's actually the largest show in the entire world, largest dive show in the entire world. What happens is that people come and they showcase the new equipment, what's new, what's trending in the industry. It also has an educational background with seminars and what is new, what safety. You have international agency like DAN, Divers Alert Network, that comes in and tell you what is the best practice. So it's a very, very important show for the island. And even if it's not a consumer show, obviously you will have travel agencies at the show that is looking for new destinations so divers can go. The world is a big place. You know, the world is 75% water. So we basically can go anywhere and land on a coral reef, on an ecosystem.
Tobago have a number of dive sites that divers come and explore. Of course, your equipment would be rented. Let's talk about the economic possibilities that can be derived from the dive industry that we are not tapping into. When divers come here, what do they pay to the state? Is it that your shop is the only place that they have to pay to use your tank, to use whatever diving equipment? How can we capitalize on the dive industry?
You know, you're such a professional in what you do, because I tell you, just at the show, I was wondering if Tobago doesn't realize that when divers come to the island, the dive community gets about a fraction of the revenue, because they don't stay by me, they don't eat at the shop, I don't transport them, and usually a dive enthusiast brings their significant other that may not want to dive and will want to do other activities.
Right.
So it's a revenue driver for the island. Not to mention, diving is not only for sightseeing. You have the educational background in scuba diving. You have students that come and study our waters from all over the world, because I would think that we would have the most unique and the most resilient coral reef ecosystem probably on the planet, because where we lie geographically. So people from all over the world come and study our water. So you have an educational background. In fact, my shop has just partnered with the University of West Indies, and the very first legitimate dive club is being started there, and it's going to launch next year in January, where we're going to take dive education to another level in the country. but the world has already caught up to that, and they come and explore our waters. So it's very, very important for the tourism industry and for the educational industry. Mm-hmm. And I think one of the main problems with tourism on the island is that they think that tourism is just one facet, one facet of the island. It encompasses every sphere of the island is affected by the tourism product. I had some students, some university students, and they were doing a course, and they came and they asked the same question: how does it affect the common man on the island? So I referred them to penny savers. I said, listen, when you go to penny savers and you see all these exotic wine and all these lanes, it's not for the 60,000 people here, you know. It's because penny savers know that we have visitors. Right. And we have visitors that... Right. So it affords us the ability to tap into all of these niceties because we have visitors on the island. Yeah?
All right, so let's go to the protective dive sites. And is it protected though? I could talk about maybe, let's leave it Speyside and the largest brain coral that is really under threat from the parrotfish that is eating the coral away. Let's talk about that. Right, so when a diver comes, let's say they stay at Manta Lodge. Yeah. Because that's a dive hotel, if you want to call it. Yeah. They rent their diving gears and what have you, right? So they stay there, they breakfast and so on, lunch. So when to go out to the dive site, they might rent a boat, right? So that is money coming in for the fellow who runs the boat. Do they pay a tax to go down to see this coral? And can that be implemented? So when you're in the water, because if you have to use our airspace, there's a cost for that. You come in our port, you have to pay for that, docking fees and so on. I'm asking, can we, because my thing is that we need to capitalize on every opportunity to earn Forex, Mr.
Absolutely.
Douglas. Speak to us from that standpoint.
Now, I can't speak to how the dive shop functions at Manta Lodge, but what I can speak to is over the years what I know a dive shop is supposed to happen. When a diver comes to the island, they usually come with their own equipment, or they can come without. So a dive shop usually has the standard equipment for safe diving. They would rent it, or it would be included in the price. And usually we don't rent the boat per se, because the boat has to be at a particular standard. It has to be, especially for insurance purposes. The boat has to have certain things on board. So a boat is not only for transportation, it's also your safety platform. So in the unlikely event of an incident, when you're on a boat, that boat gives you that emergency first response that is required. So more so for a dive boat is a specialized piece of equipment.
Let's stay with the dive boat. So I've had the experience of going on your boat, which is a dive boat, and I've seen how it operates. Your daughter is on board, the marker is down, she knows she have to wait until daddy come up because she and so on. But let's speak to when the visitor comes.
Yes.
How many dive boats are there? And again, if it is that it is a specific boat for diving, then they can't just get it so free. No. It has to be paid for.
Yes.
Let's speak to that. That's our earning.
It is, yes.
And who are the operators of these boats? Are they like readily available, or you have to call a fellow from Crown Point to come up to Speyside to carry out some tourists by the dive site, and then he might not gas? No. Let's speak to that, because all these professionals come, they want professional treatment. So let's speak to the readiness and the availability of that type of equipment or resource that is needed for the tourists.
So that piece of equipment, it's not going to be a fishing boat. So you're not going to see TFT at the side of the boat. It's going to be TL. It's going to be for a transport launch. And it has to be registered. It has to be insured. And a dive boat is nothing without trained personnel manning it. The ability to respond, what to do, what to look for in the unlikely event of an incident. Okay, so it is especially outfit is very expensive. Usually a dive boat takes a little while to get up to spec. Ironically, there was seminars at the show when it comes to dive equipment and dive boat to ensure that you take our. Because let me tell you something, divers are our environmentalists, environmental police. And, a lot of the times the layperson, when they think diving, they say, well, bring back a fish for me or bring back a lobster. It's quite the opposite. we don't want to touch anything on there. And when it comes to your ecosystem, the coral reef is so sensitive that a diver can recognize when your ecosystem is in problems because it starts in the water. But the average person doesn't see it. So a dive boat is a really, really important part. So when a person comes onto the dive boat, they're looking for the ability to rack their equipment safely, the ability to enter and exit the boat safely. They're looking for your staff to be one that is courteous and helpful. So it is a skill by itself. You ask about capitalizing on the maximizing on the revenue. So and Tobago has a fantastic opportunity to do that, because sometimes you come to the shop and you see people with little badges on their BCD or on the equipment. And where you get that? You got that from Brazil. You know why? Because when we go to the park, we have to pay $10 or $5 to enter the park.
Of course.
We have a Boku Reef here. By the way, divers, we don't dive at the Boku Reef. It is too shallow. But we recognize the importance of the Boku Reef. We have a Boku Reef here, and we are not able to capitalize and maximize on it properly. And it's the only protected, you asked about protected area. Speyside should be protected. From the time we recognize that we have the largest, the oldest brain coral in the world, not the Western Hemisphere anymore, in the world. Yeah. We are supposed to protect that.
Of course.
Because people ask about, when we go to the show, people ask about the brain coral,
Okay.
People ask, and I'm scared for them to ask, what are you doing to protect it?
Exactly. And because you don't have nothing. All right. Well, let me ask you now, Doggy. Now, Mr. Douglas. And I need to see it, So I have to finish my course for you to take me down to see this brain coral. All right.
Absolutely.
So, all are going, I can't let the wife hear that. Huh? Anyhow, let me, right. So from the last set of information I got, the brain coral is under attack by parrotfish?
No. I don't think the parrotfish actually is one of these agents in the water that does a lot of cleaning. Okay? So we should not be eating the parrotfish.
Okay.
Because our beaches rely on the parrotfish. When the parrotfish eats the algae and eats and cleans the coral, it poops the sand.
Okay.
And it's the sand that builds the beaches.
Right.
So we have to understand that. We have to educate our people not to kill the parrotfish. What is going on with the brain coral, sadly, is that there are diseases that are mostly caused by the climate change, by the heat in the water, and it is invading the ecosystem. A little bit of good news to that is that our ecosystem is a little bit more resilient than others, and I think it's because we are so close to these rivers that come out of Venezuela that our ecosystem is accustomed to the stresses of the temperature changes and the salinity changes. So they are fighting. They're fighting. The coral reef are fighting. And again, these are the things that we boast when we go to these shows.
Okay. Beside the divers, there are people who want to explore snorkeling. Dave, before I got into he took me snorkeling for the first time.
He loves snorkeling.
And I saw God's creation.
Yeah.
I was so dumbstruck because I did not know. I see it on TV under the sea and think. But when he took me to Annersville.
Yes.
And I saw the prettiest reef in Tobago. For those people who believe Boku Reef is pretty, go snorkeling in. So let's deal with snorkeling aspect of the diving on the marine environment.
So
talk to us about how we can earn from it as well.
Snorkeling is but a part of one of the areas that you explore and you visit. Snorkeling and skin diving are one of the things that are taught in a dive shop also. And it is basically using your fins, mask, and snorkel to explore. It is nice for Tobago to get into snorkeling. Why? Because our coral reef are easily accessible. At any point around the island, you could jump into the water and you could be on a coral reef, you could be on an ecosystem. From Castara, Arnersville, anywhere. You don't have to travel 2.5 hours to get to one of these areas. So it's very, very easy to get into the water and do some snorkeling. It is catching on, because you do have some people who prefer to stay on the surface than to explore underwater. And yeah, we offer snorkeling tours all up the island, all up to Charlottesville, and come right down Englishman's Bay, you know, with the snorkeling. So it's a great activity also.
Yeah. The Speyside Reef, that is one of the, you know.
Speyside it's really good, especially in front of Goat Island, because it's so sheltered and it's relatively shallow. It is excellent for snorkeling activity.
All right. So let's say the diver comes to Tobago, like my English friend who was with us.
Right.
Has he been back since? I'm not sure.
No, he hasn't been.
All right, hasn't been. So, and for those of you who don't know, there are people who leave varying parts. Divers go all around the world, but Tobago is the preferred choice. Right. So, Douglas, there are specific dive sites that are more attractive than some. We spoke about how we can earn from the diving industry.
Yeah. What
needs to be put in place to earn? So when you go in there, you don't want to pay a fee to go down there because you ain't going down there free and so on.
Infrastructure.
All right. What talk about the infrastructure that is
infrastructure. When divers come to the island, they want to be able to access that area with ease. They want to know, the first thing they'll ask you, what kind of engines do you have on your boat? Is it a 2-stroke or a 4-stroke?
Why is that important?
Because the 4-stroke is a lot more environmentally sensitive.
Okay.
The 2-stroke, the emission is a lot more. So you find that people are going to 4-stroke. It's a lot more efficient. However, for a person that is on an island that does not have a proper slipway or fresh water to maintain a 4-stroke engine, it is very costly. It can't sit in the water like a 2-stroke. A 2-stroke could sit in the water all day because it's a workhorse. The 4-stroke is a lot more. It's a lot more sensitive. So we have to have the infrastructure to be able to invest in that. That 4-stroke is like a car on the road, 1 4-stroke, and usually a dive boat has 2 4-strokes on it. Yeah, that's one aspect. The other aspect is piers and jetties and all these things. You need to be able to access these things so that we can charge top dollar for our destination.
Excellent.
We have to stay competitive to the other islands, you know. When I go to these shows, my colleagues on the island are not my competition. We are supposed to partner with Tobago, partner with the professionals, go and advertise the island, go and tell the world what we have here. Also, we have to now come back and report to Tital, this is the trend, this is what we need to do. And one of the things that we are lacking is the infrastructure, the marine infrastructure.
Very good. Let's say that a family brings someone who has never dived before but want to dive in Tobago. You being the master diver, let's say there are a couple of, and let's say how many professional dive coaches or trainers are there on the island? So let's say, for example, they come to you, you can take them out, so you person diving for the first time, you walk them through, you make sure they get all, you know, how to equalize and all of that. And they have their parents who are professional divers. However, they need, just like how you took me like a baby into the water and had to be there with me. How many professional divers are there in Tobago that can take that innocent, that first person to a underwater experience? I
actually did a couple yesterday. And there are not a lot of us, but there's more than before. You know, I would like the educational system to come on board so that we can take students, because most of the time the dive professionals that are here are trained by us. There's a process that involves getting a person to instructor level. You have to do what you call an instructor development course. And it's international. We have to fly in examiners, flying course directors to qualify these people.
Okay.
And what I try to do every term is to identify a professional dive enthusiast that is worthy of that and send them onto the course. But it's expensive. It costs to get a diver up to the instructor level can cost you upwards of $60,000 to $70,000.
Wow, really?
It's not an inexpensive venture at all. However, when you are qualified, you can go anywhere in the world, especially when you are under an international body like Professional Association of Diving Instructors, which is PADI.
Very good.
So it is something, and it's easy to learn. You know, one of the most popular courses is the one that you did. It's called the Discover Scuba. When people come in and they don't they recognize that type of activity is afforded to them. It's easy for them. 2.5 hours, I make you a diver. The difference is that if you are a certified diver.
Right, exactly. Right.
But in 2.5 hours, I can take you from a non-diver for a person who don't even know that there's salt in the ocean.
Right.
To you swimming around in 35, 40 feet.
So families would feel, because you said it took a couple yesterday. So families would bring their siblings and want them to have the experience. You are available to do that.
Oh, yeah.
And I asked how many people like that, because I can remember this when before I went diving. So you took me out and then you all went down. And I was on the boat, and one of the divers came up prematurely and was having difficulty. And there was a professional diver, swimmer, what is it? I don't know what the title.
A rescue diver.
A rescue diver. And this fella practically walk on water based on the training that he got from. Listen, I said, God bring me here for me to see that, you know. And this young man actually, he trying to get the rope, because the last resort is to go in the water, right?
Yes.
So the rope tangling up, and he's talking to the guy while the guy out there panicking and all kind of story. And then this fella actually walk on the water, reach the fella, go on the side. And he's talking to the fella. He said, calm down, I am here. And that fella was able to bring that boy safely back onto the boat. And I was blown away.
A dive professional, the water has to be second nature to them. In order for me to respond to you or to take care of you underwater, it's not like walking through the rainforest where you could look back and say, well, a little tired, let me take a rest there. You know? I have to look at your body, the way how you swim. I have to look at your eyes. I have to hold your hand and feel how tense your muscles are. So diving to me has to be second nature in order for me to take care of you. And my staff are all trained in being able to get day or night to jump into the water and rescue, or to make sure that your experience is safe. That's why we have such a airtight safety record on the island.
All right, Doggy, we can continue this conversation all day, but we got to go.
Yes,
so we want to thank you very much for being here this morning, and we do have other commitments. So all the best to you, and we'll chat again. You have to go there.
Thank you for having me.
We're doing the brain call.
Yes,
right?
of course.
Right.
The brain call dive.
Yeah, man. All right.